Running your own business can be lonely, finding reliable professionals difficult, and generating new business challenging, but not when you have a business network. NewGen Networking provides its members with new and exciting business opportunities, with the chance to build lasting relationships with vetted businesses who can act as your sales team and solve the issue of who to turn to in your hour of need. With a range of flexible and affordable solutions, NewGen apply tried and tested principles in a modern way to suit today's world. To find the right option for your business, visit newgen-networking.com or call 03333 600 680. NewGen Networking. New business, new contacts, a new generation of networking. You're listening to the NewGen podcast exclusively on the Pod Station.
Good morning and welcome to Andrew McCabe from HR Onsite.
Good morning.
Right, Andrew, just could you have a little bit of background, really? I know it's sort of, you're quite new to the group and new to all of us, so just sort of what brought you up to setting up the company, really, your experience, etc.
So I started life as a civil servant, working in the public sector, and then went off to university, studied law, trained as a solicitor, took a bit of a change of direction.
I mean, I'm sorry, I feel I should boo and hiss repeatedly for this. Boo.
So having done that...
That's getting edited. That's getting kept in, by the way.
So I dealt with employment law then for the next 25 years. I went back to uni and then did a master's degree in law. I've always worked, as I say, advising companies, dealing with issues that they have, and then started to realise that the purpose was to protect businesses. Instead of representing them at tribunal when there's already been a problem, is to try and get in there earlier on and to resolve those issues. And the only way to do that is because businesses, they don't start a business wanting to or knowing how to deal with HR issues. They now take advice from HR providers, but they don't know actually how to deal with a disciplinary hearing, a grievance hearing, things like that. So HR Onsite will go out and hold HR-related meetings, deal with workplace issues on behalf of the client.
Obviously, moving on to the services and what you actually offer clients then. So from HR Onsite as a company, what is your main offering?
So clients will ring us and say, yes, we have this problem in work. We need to hold a disciplinary hearing. We would go out to their premises, we'd meet with the client, get all the relevant information, hold that meeting with the employee. We'd make any further inquiries that we need to, and then we step away and we write a report based on the events leading up to needing that meeting, what was discussed at that meeting, what our findings are based on the documentary evidence, what was told to us by the employee, and then we make recommendations for an outcome to the matter. That really is the service as a whole.
Obviously, other than yourself, what makes you a little bit different to other HR companies, would you say?
I think doing exactly what it is that we do. As I say, many companies take advice from HR providers, but no one actually holds meetings on behalf of those clients, and we're looking to, as I say, offer that protection for the client. They're worried about what to say or do, or they're concerned about doing the wrong thing. They may well have worked with that employee for a long time. It might be a friend, it might be a family relative. So there's many reasons why businesses are reluctant to hold these meetings, and that's why they pass it on to us. We take the emotion out of that meeting, we deal solely with the facts, we're not clouded with any historic issues with that employee. Right. And so that's why we feel it is a benefit to businesses in using our service.
Okay. A lot of companies maybe might have their own HR departments or people who would use why, I know you've touched on areas there, but why would a company specifically use you then and bring you in? Is that the way it works? You just come in and sort of work for a period of time with a company, or?
Well, on several occasions, the employee might be saying, well, you're just using this against me, you're just trying to get rid of me, you've never wanted me in the business. By the company having a third party come in and hold that meeting, it removes those allegations that that employee was just surplus to the business. So, as I say, we'll go in, look at both sides of the argument. We're not just going to do what the business wants us to do. We will look at both sides, take that evidence away with us, and as I say, make that advice to the business. They may well want to get rid of that employee, and we wouldn't be doing our job properly if we just simply went along with that. So we might say, well, you could dismiss this employee, but if you do that, you're going to end up at an employment tribunal. You may well not win. If the employee is as bad as you say they are, why don't you settle for a sanction that's less than dismissal? We're going to be back at a disciplinary hearing in a few weeks' time when you could fairly dismiss them. So it's looking more at pragmatic reasons as well as the legal aspects, and as I say, protecting the business.
A final question from me. How can we specifically help you? So obviously from the networking side of things, and what is there an ideal client, or are the people that you tend to want to work with?
We're looking for businesses that have difficult employees who might attend work late, leave early, disruptive in the workplace, and the company's perhaps trying to change that culture. Right. So the employees realise that if the company's bringing somebody else in to deal with those issues. But our best client would be HR providers, people who advise businesses on a daily basis, who are telling them, well, you need to hold a grievance hearing, you need to hold disciplinary, redundancy, things like that. So those kind of people that deal with businesses on a daily basis would be our ideal client.
Right. So working alongside other HR companies and consultants is good for you?
Yeah, and the larger companies who might well have a specific project, perhaps they're going through redundancy, perhaps they're buying another business and need to hold consultation meetings, we would work alongside them as well, just to support and help them.
Okay, that's great, brilliant. Do we have any questions?
You said that you are looking to protect the business. Have you ever found yourself in the position where you need to protect the employee?
Not specifically the employee. Employees will say to me sometimes, I'm just glad that somebody listened to what I had to say. They will open up more to me rather than having the boss in the room. Yeah. So a lot of times I do get thanked for coming along, listening to what they've got to say. And as I say, the outcome perhaps isn't always what the employee or the employer expects it to be. And as I say, we wouldn't be doing our job properly if we just simply went along with what the client wanted.
Has the pandemic created a specific spike in any problems or situations that perhaps weren't previously as common and seem to be something that's now continuing?
I think in terms of the pandemic, I found myself doing a lot of redundancies. Businesses did suffer despite furlough being on offer. But I think sometimes businesses use the pandemic to create a redundancy situation to get rid of people, perhaps that they may well not have done had it not been for the pandemic. I think they've used that as a reason or an excuse perhaps to get rid of some people. But there's definitely been an increase in the number of redundancies.
Is that something that's continuing, or do you think that's going to dip down and normality resume?
We're coming out of the pandemic now, but there still are a lot of redundancies out there. And I'm hoping that not only as a result of that, but businesses are also starting to expand. Some businesses have done very well, some sectors have done well as a result of the pandemic, and they're also buying other businesses and expanding. So, yeah, a two-pronged attack, really, in terms of the pandemic.
Okay. Question for me, Andrew. Is prevention always better than cure? And in your world, if you've got a business, can you get in there, advise them on an ongoing basis, and start the process before they have any problems?
We want to try and retain our independence and impartiality. So what we rely on is other more regular HR providers offering that advice and support and guidance to those businesses. But when a problem does arise, that they would then invite us to go in and do that for them.
So you're more like a mediator?
In terms of that respect, yes, we are. We would listen to both sides. Clearly, we're acting on behalf of the client business, and we will try and find the result that they want. But if we don't believe that's in their best interest, we will advise against it. But yeah, we try and mediate between all parties. We want to try and resolve the problem for the benefit of both parties, rather than creating a difficult problem.
That's right. Right. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you.
If you would like to visit one of our online or face-to-face hubs, visit newgen-networking.com and book a place. Get social at Network NewGen on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn.